Namaste everyone, very warm welcome to Satsang today. Moji ji ki jai. I'm not sure if anyone is here. Am I doing this right? So if someone is here and they can confirm that the video and audio are all right. Oh, Namaste Lucia. How's the audio? Namaste, namaste. If someone can confirm that they can hear the as well, both are good. Very good. So if this is your first time to Satsang, you can ask your questions in the chat window. Very warm welcome once again. Welcome, welcome. I'm in the Satsang.
Did it?
Starting.
Why are your eyes so red?
Are they red?
Very. Look at your freaking. Shut it up.
No, it's going on. What do you want?
Sorry. Can I take the money and go to Starbucks?
Okay.
Because I need all of it. Where is it? I put it here. I don't need them. But I give it to you here. It's my shirt. Shut it up.
Can you leave?
Don't give me my hands up, please.
Close the door. So as you can see, we had an interruption. So today I feel we must ask two questions. We must ask two questions. And the first question we must ask is, am I free? The first question we must ask is, am I free? And you can put your response in the chat so we can see. first question we asked is, am I free? And whatever response is coming, if you can type it in the chat window. Yes. Soham says yes. And we'll wait for some other responses as well. So there are some yeses, there are some no's, and there are some I don't knows. So the second question to ask for the ones who have the yeses is that, does that make me special? For those who answered yes, have to answer, does that make me special in relation to the rest? And the ones who answered no, have to identify in what way am I not free. In what way am I not free? And the ones who answered I don't know must also say, in what way do I feel that I am not free? And for the ones who answered from the heart, and the answer was that I am beyond both freedom and bondage, it is very good. If it is a sincere response from the heart, then it is very good. Very good. So we're getting some responses. So for the ones who said I am free, then it should be completely clear that there is no specialness about this. The realization is that I have always been free, and in the same way everyone are always free. Everyone is always free. No, that is the crux of the realization itself. But if it becomes that this is a special experience which I am having for myself, and the rest of the world is still bound in some way, then we must look at this and explore this. So the realization is that I have always been free, only believed myself to be bound. In the same way, the whole world is ever free, only imagining themselves to be bound. Atma is saying that some people have a better life than me. It is not true actually, because better is very subjective. Without the interpretation of the mind, there is no such thing as better or worse. Life is just life. It is as perfect or imperfect as you would like to believe. But in no way do the events that happen in life affect the awareness which you are. So once it is seen to be just an appearance, then it can just be enjoyed. Okay, so let's look at some of the responses now. I'm not going to start from the very beginning, I'm just going to jump in to the middle. Let's look at what Neil says. He says, but even though I have this idea of a freedom I don't have, I still feel blessed, which I suppose means special. So if it is clear that you are blessed, it is also clear that everyone else's life is also completely grace, pointing them to their complete freedom as well. Yes. So if your life is being blessed by grace, so is everybody else's life in every moment. And Atma says, in my life, nothing happens. Therefore, I say that. There are many beings who would kill for a life where nothing happens. Yes. They're so tired of something constantly happening in their lives that they would say, I wish I had a life where nothing happens. So, we must drop this interpretation of something being better or worse. The universe does not make a mistake and it has perfect timing. God does not make a mistake and He has perfect timing. Therefore, don't resist the content of what is appearing. Just see it for what it is, just another appearance. So, for a few minutes, let's look at those who said, no, I'm not free, and those who said that I'm completely neutral to both freedom or bondage. So, for those who said, no, I'm not free yet, there were some responses like, I still believe in my thoughts. And even if there is belief in thoughts, In what way does that make us bound? In what way do these things affect awareness? The one that is aware that I still believe my thoughts, is that affected by the content of the thoughts we might be believing? And once you see that nothing really happened to you, then you will see that it is okay. All this also is okay. Nothing can truly shake you. Nothing can make you something that you are not. Nothing has ever really happened to anyone at all. Nothing has ever really happened. Yes, so Neil has a question. He says, Father, do I, in brackets, who I perceive myself to be, do I have a choice? Do I have anything to do about my freedom? Do I have choice in when I will be free? I'll just be back. My phone is ringing. Sorry about that. So the question was, Father, do I have anything to do about my freedom? Do I have a choice in when I will be free? No, actually you do not have a choice, because you cannot not be free. It's my feeling strongly to tell all of you this today, that you are ever free. You are always only free. The only choice you have is to believe that you are not, or to believe that you are. Or rather, not even believe, but to imagine that you are bound, or imagine that you are free. Which part of you is not free? Which part of you is bound? Are you really that which is bound? Are you not just the awareness of all of this? The awareness within which all of this appears. So Ustreamer62 says, a thought that I should be surrounded by spiritual people and not a husband who talks about politics and his friends come up strongly. Yes. So let this thought come and go, because what is happening in your life is just perfect. Because if you were just surrounded by your own thoughts, then you would hide a lot of things, you would repress a lot of things which would never have the opportunity to come up and be released. So life will always put us in situations where everything that we are not dealing with inside gets shown up here in the so-called external world, so that it gets dealt with. So the resentment you have, or the anger that you feel, or all the other feelings that come are inside, and they need to get dealt with, need to get released, and they need to get transcended. That is why these situations still have some juice for us externally. If we are completely clear, all spiritual people you wanted to be surrounded with are telling you that you are awareness itself. Isn't it? So if they're truly spiritual people, they're pointing you to who you really are, which is the awareness itself. No? So this awareness itself, is that getting affected by the appearance of your husband and his politics and his friends? No, it is still an idea of who I am, this person that I believe myself to be, who is affected by all of this, seems to get attacked by the presence of all of this. And this idea now must be completely transcended. You are never this person. You are never a person at all. And if this momentum would not come, if these appearances would not come to poke you and to make you suffer, then you would never transcend this false idea of being a spiritual person or somebody who wants spiritual friends. So Ustreamer 50 says, the sense of being a mother is bound. Yes. Any identity seems to bind us. But the self does not need to rely on any identity to play any function perfectly. We just presume that I must be a mother, a good mother, a mother who's like this and like that, for you to function as a wonderful mother. But the self does not need to rely on any of these identities to play its role perfectly as the mother, as a child, as a parent, as a lover, as a sibling. All these roles the self has no trouble playing with. So as long as we believe that we are a person and these are our identities, then we will pretend to suffer as a result of all of these identities. So what is clear is that the appearance of some certain thoughts and their belief, once we give them belief, then we seem to be bound. Then we seem to be bound. But what is actually getting bound? Can we look at where this bound person is? Even after believing a certain thought, who is bound? Is that not just another idea? So in this way, is not an idea suffering from other ideas about itself? Who is suffering except an idea? Can you show me the sufferer? Who is bound? Who is suffering? Can anyone show me this one? And don't believe any thoughts about this being a abstract question or a difficult question or something you tried to do earlier but cannot do. Just look at it fresh and tell me, who is this person who is bound or suffering? Okay, very good. So many of you have said just another idea. There is no sufferer, only idea is suffering, Atma says. And then we have a question from SK from Durban. SK says, Hi Anantaji, thank you for the satsang. My suffering is related to thoughts regarding work and work related problems. How do I break free of this identity? Is leaving work helpful? Yes. This is a common malady in our life where work seems to be the cause of our suffering. No? So we have an identity of a worker or an employee, and because of this identity, when we are thrown into situations which question this identity or attack this identity, we say, should I leave? I just want to leave to be free from this suffering. So first I say, first you must leave this identity here now. Leave the identity first. Before you leave work, you leave the identity of being a worker or an employee. Be free from this identity. Be free from your concepts of what kind of worker you are, what kind of employee you are, what kind of work you would like to do, what your positioning should be in an organization, how you are mistreated or how you should be treated in an organization, who is your boss. All of these identities can now be swept aside. Don't believe any thought about any of it. And then let the self unfold in the way it is meant to unfold. Let the appearance unfold in the way it is meant to unfold on its own. That is what it has been doing anyway. We just pretend to have some control over it, but that is the way it has been going anyway throughout. Because there is no person here, there can be no personal control. Please, all of you must remember this. Because there is no person here at all, there has never been any personal control. So it is only consciousness that has been playing itself in this way, and it will continue to play in the way it wants to. Therefore, it is not important whether you stay in work or whether you let go of work and you do something else. What is most important is whether you let go the identity of being a worker. And better still, if you have let go of the identity of being a person at all. When you are just the witnessing of all of this, then it can unfold in any which way and it loses the ability to cause any suffering to you. Loses the ability to cause any suffering. Only an idea is suffering. Only the concept of the person is suffering. You are only the awareness of it. In what way is the awareness affected by any of this? So to renounce anything in the world, in a worldly fashion, will not help. What we must do is renounce the concepts we have about these things. We must renounce our identity as a person. We must basically renounce the mind. We must renounce our thoughts by withdrawing our belief and ultimately our attention from them. Once you withdraw your beliefs from your thought, then they will lose their magnetism to your attention as well. So for now, just stop believing your thoughts and then tell me what your problem is. Don't tell me your mind's problems. Tell me your problems. Can you do that? Those are the things I want to hear from your mouth. What are you really saying? Are you saying anything at all, or are you just parroting the mind's voice? Are you just a parrot for the mind's voice, or can you reach the deeper intuitive voice which will speak through you as the voice of the Sadguru itself? And when I hear this voice from you, I am forever at your feet. So all that is needed is for you to not believe your thoughts. Withdraw your belief from your thoughts. It is completely possible right now to do it. It is not a long-term project which I am giving you. You can drop it right now. So Amrit Gaurav has a question. He says, Beloved Anantaji, few things I understand intellectually, but how to experience it, I really don't know. Yes. The quickest way I am telling you, is to let go of your thoughts. Don't believe any thought, and all that is required to be experienced is immediately perceived. Immediately perceived. Now, if you're expecting fireworks or some special bliss or some other states, or you want miracles to happen, then that is an expectation coming from the mind. So we must let go of what the mind is telling us about freedom and liberation and enlightenment. Find your own true freedom by letting go of your thoughts. So freedom is just freedom from this bondage. If we need to create some bondage or believe some bondage, it is only this bondage of believing these thoughts which are appearing, which are trying to convince us about our personhood, which are trying to convince us that we are separate individual entities. So nothing needs to be done. Even don't pick up a single thought. No thought will help you. Don't pick up a single thought. All doing must stop now. Let life unfold on its own the way it must. Thoughts are not in service to you at all. Is anger and frustration a clear sign of believing one is a person? So Ustreamer62 has this question. It is a very good question. He says, is anger or frustration A clear sign of believing one is a person. Momentarily, yes. So if anger comes momentarily, frustration comes momentarily, then immediately some attention and belief went to that, and it played out in that way, but that was soon dropped. That is soon dropped. So anyone who's come into this conditioned world, anyone who's come into this realm, momentarily these things can still happen. What is more important is not to feel guilty about this. So don't let anger become resentment. No? Momentarily, if some anger is arising and it was some Shiva energy came and it blasted out and then it was over, then let it be over. All the gurus, all the masters have had their moments of anger, their moments of fear. Anyone who has come into this world, be it the great beings like Jesus or Ram or any of the avatars themselves, have also had moments where the personhood was believed, but only momentarily, and it does not have the capacity now to make you suffer except for that moment. So don't have an expectation that freedom means the complete dissolution of anger, and freedom means the complete dissolution of fear and the complete dissolution of frustration. It does not mean that. It's just that you lose the ability to hold on to them. You will not be able to hold on to them beyond a few moments. And you're living fresh moment to moment. Living fresh moment to moment. You might even have trouble trying to remember what you felt angry about 10 minutes ago. What were you irritated with 10 minutes ago? You will not be able to remember. And Lucia says, there is no problems in my true space. Very good. SK says, thank you for this clarity. I really have no problem right now. Yes. In the now, there is never a problem. In every right now, there is only the now, and there is no problem. Therefore, there can never truly be a problem at all. No matter what is happening in front of us, whether the boss is shouting at us or the co-workers are being political, none of this is a problem for what we truly are. It is all just a play of consciousness itself. And we have to look at even all of this as grace, because that grace brought us here to our deep understanding of our true nature, to our deepest, truest understanding of our true nature. Thank you, Atma. Soham says, the revelation / realization of no doer is freedom. It is the same as no person, just different angle. Yes. Once it is seen that there was never a person here, then all these concepts of doership must dissolve in that, isn't it? If there was no person at all, then who believed himself to be a doer? Who believed herself to be a doer if all is being done by consciousness itself? Therefore, then it becomes only okay to say that as consciousness, I am the one doer. And even better to say that consciousness also arises within me and does whatever it has to and dissolves within me ultimately. Bhatima says, dear Ananta, does don't believe your thoughts mean turn away from them, forget about them? That's what's happening. Yes. Once our belief from thoughts is withdrawn, then it becomes very easy to look the other way, to turn away. No? If there is still some belief in some value that these thoughts could be giving us, then our attention will keep going to them. So therefore I say, don't worry about attention initially, Just worry about whether you're believing or not. Are you believing the content of your thought or not? Just withdraw your belief from it. That is completely possible. Let it just say whatever it wants. You do not believe what it is saying. And then your attention will also stop going to it. Your attention will also stop going to it. But don't make it a forced thing that your attention must be taken away, because attention goes in a reverse way also very often. So if you say don't think of a pink elephant, then attention immediately goes to this picture of a pink elephant. So let attention be completely free. You just withdraw your belief from thoughts. Atma says nothing, nothing, nothing ever matters at all. Yes. Thank you for this moment. Very good. All is just an appearance which is appearing and it will go eventually. And then we can say that neither freedom nor bondage apply to me. Neither freedom nor bondage apply to me. Then we can say this. Because it will be clearly seen this way. So Ustreamer62 has a question that I believe my eczema happens because of my anger and frustration. Does this make sense to you? Is it just another thought? What about physical manifestation? Don't need to worry about all of this. Physical manifestation, the secret manifesting, whether which thoughts I must pay attention to or not, what do I visualize creatively, all of this now can be kept aside. All of this now can be kept aside, and know that only consciousness is doing all of this, and the belief in the personhood, the belief that I am a person, is perpetuated by believing some specific thoughts or special thoughts about what should appear or should not appear in my life. Therefore, now you drop all of this stuff and you see where this person really is. Where is this person who is manifesting all of this? What is the reality of this person? Are you just the body that is made up of the food that you have eaten? Are you just your thoughts? Or all of this is just appearing for you? All of this is just being witnessed in you? You must look at this question now, and then all of this will lose its meaning. All siddhis, all manifestation, all positive, negative manifestation, all workings of the mind will be completely irrelevant to you, because you see that it is a pure play of consciousness, just like any other dream or projection of this consciousness. Therefore, you will not have an interest in finding out in the dream which thought is making your dream body have which experience. No? It is our belief that we are this body mind as a person that leads us to have interest in this. But once we see that I am not here at all, I am just the pure witnessing of all of this, then this question will fall away, and with that it is usually seen that life unfolds in a very beautiful way, irrespective of the specific content of this life. So don't try to use all these tricks of manifestation, or you are saying manifestation in the form of subconscious manifestation with diseases forming, but there are many beings who are trying to manifest specific positive, quote unquote, positive things in their life. But this operates under the presumption that the mind knows what is good for us. The mind knows what is needed, but the mind actually knows nothing at all. So what can I ever ask for specifically? What can I ever ask for specifically? I do not know whether having $1 million in the bank, or whether to have another set of friends, or what kind of relationships is good for me or not. I do not know what kind of suffering any of these situations in life will bring. So all I can ask for is the continued blessings of my Guru, which are ever present. So I can only be grateful for whatever is here. I can only be grateful for my Master's grace. But I don't have the ability now to ask for specific things, because I can clearly see that the mind does not know what is required or not. So there's a complete trust in what the universe is bringing up on its own. So Niyal has this question. He says, Father, if there is an ongoing problem or situation, should I deal with it first or turn away? I think the latter, because I've never been able to deal with it before. Yes. But we're taking it to one level outside, which is that there is a external problem. If I'm understanding the question correctly, if we are talking about an external problem, whether we should turn away from it or whether we should deal with it, that is what the question is. Where I am saying is at a lower level, which is the level of the mind itself. When some things are coming up in the mind, we just don't believe them. The thought is coming up, we don't believe it. What happens in the relation to the problem can happen on its own. No decision is required to be made by you. You just turn away from the content of your thought, let life unfold in the most beautiful way that it can. Turn away only from the content of your thought, turn away from your belief in your thought, and let your mouth and your body say or do whatever is required to be done automatically. They are doing that anyway. So this dealing with or turning away from the problem externally is not something that you have to be concerned about. Trust consciousness to play it out the way it has to play it out. You just have to turn away from belief in your thoughts. It is very simple, much simpler this way than to specifically trying to deal with every issue in the external world and then finding our freedom. Much better to first let go, renounce the content of our thoughts, and then let life unfold in any which way without any preconception about what should happen. So if you find yourself automatically dealing with the situation, let that dealing happen. If you find yourself automatically turning away from the situation, let that happen. In any case, that is the way it is. It is happening on its own. So Francis Lucille had this beautiful example of a ride in, not sure whether it was Universal Studios or one of the amusement parks, where he says you get into the ride and then you have to control the way that your ride is going, and if you do a good job, then you get some points in the end. So you try turn left, but sometimes it still turns right. So the next time you try harder, turn left, and it goes left, and you say, yes, this time I really gave it all my energy and all my force, and that's why it happened. Then you say turn right, 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 full force, but it still goes left. And say you did not do a good job of it, I should have tried harder. So then you try harder and try to steer it in the way you want it to go. It is only at the end of the ride you realize that all of it was pre-programmed. The left and the rights were meant to happen in the way that they happened. You just pretended to be in control of anything. In actuality, because there is no person at all, in actuality, there is no control at all possible. Lucia says, so beautiful. Prema says, so grateful for the continuous blessings of my master. Thank you so much. And Atma says, it is so clear what you said now. Yes, very good. And Neil says, thank you, dear master. You answered my question and so much more. Your answers keep silencing my mind's rantings. That's very good. And you will find the mind will become quieter and quieter. But even if it is throwing up a huge tsunami of words and things, other things that are coming up, then you don't worry about it. Don't feel that you have lost something, because the mind will sometimes push all these buttons when you're unprepared, and then you will feel that I lost something which I had. So it is not the quietness of the mind, it is not the noisiness of the mind. It is once you have seen that you are not the mind, then it doesn't matter what the mind is doing. We stop dancing to the mind's tunes. We are no longer a slave to the mind. We are not a puppet in the mind's hands anymore. How is the audio today with this mic? Is it better? Okay, very good. Very good. So when we stop the nourishment of belief to our thoughts, then this idea of personhood cannot survive at all. It is as simple as that. And don't fall into any tricks of the mind. Expose the tricks of the mind in satsang, that is good enough. And we can look at them together. Because it can give you a lot of sneaky thoughts, it will make you believe all kinds of nonsense. But if you're buying into something, you just expose it. Very good. So the audio is much better today and the video looks good as well. That's very good. Very good. And Jyoti says, it's great, so grateful for your satsang. Thank you. Thank you for waking up early. So happy you're here. Big hugs, Louise. Happy birthday, Louise. Very glad you could join us. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. and a wonderful year. May the Master's grace be always with you. So much love and blessings. And Ustreamer 82 says, thank you, beloved. Much love. Much love to you too, my dear. And Arjun, if you're watching, happy birthday belatedly to you too. It was on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. I did send you a message on WhatsApp, but I guess you were deluged with your messages. I love you all so very much. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. मुझे जी की जय.